Greetings, my human friends. This is Rudolf of Germany, the tall white alien. And today I would like to talk about the geopolitical situation and specifically the crisis which is building up around North Korea. Out of this perspective of my fraction of the tall white intergalactic race which is on this planet since several thousands of years and is shaping its destiny to a certain extent. Why many people asking themselves, is America so interested in North Korea? Is it really a fact that the American leadership is worrying about an attack on its own shore? Is the American leadership in the interest of the American people and the people of the West trying to avoid war and give safety and security to its citizens? Or do the deep states, makers and shakers between the front which you have been voting for, having a completely different agenda? That is the question I would like to talk about today. Since many years there has been the leadership of North Korea and the buffer zone which it builds between South Korea and the Chinese and Russian border, a thorn in the eye of the American administration. And very simple is the reason indeed. If North Korea could be eliminated in one way or the other, even militarily, as long as it is not a nuclear war, that would create a greater Korea, and the South Korean nation, which is under the control of the United States, would extend all the way to the border of China and Russia. This means that the American Navy, Air Force and Army would have very strong and powerful forces right on the border of China and Russia in Southeast Asia. A very important strategic situation would be created. This is the reason of the recent and not so recent provocations from the side of the United States towards North Korea. One way or the other, the United States want to get rid of the leadership, create chaos, and later take over. But the leadership of North Korea does not let itself be intimidated, and at the contrary, actually does exactly that what the Americans have warned them for, creating more missile testing and extending their nuclear capabilities in a way that they eventually are able to create a situation where their submarines, at least, and not necessarily long-range missiles, can be deployed underwater secretly, at least in parts, in front of the coast of the United States. And the American leadership also realizes that North Korea is not backing down and will do, in case of a US-American attack, try everything to defend itself and somehow smuggle boats and other devices to the coast and into the United States to create a massive nuclear attack. And this is exactly what puts the American administration and the military and the Pentagon people into such a hard place. because they do not know how to react to that. Naturally, a war against North Korea would not be a big thing. With American might, they could smash the country in a very short period of time. But that short period of time might be just enough to deploy some submarines or other devices which can hit the American mainland and destroy possibly 1, 2, or 3 major cities. And this cannot be risked, because the United States of America, a mighty and proud nation, is always ready to fight wars far away from its own borders, but is absolutely not willing to risk a war inside of its own territory and even have some nuclear bombs dropping on them. Which shows that the American government is unable to react accordingly to North Korea, because they didn't expect such a brave man in charge which says, okay, if we go and you destroy us, we destroy at least certain parts of you as well. And this has never happened in American history, that an outside force, even is a small one, threatens the mainland of America. That would mean that they have to also react nuclear towards North Korea, drop nuclear devices on North Korea, and this way the nuclear fallout and the poisonous cloud would be automatically flying over the Chinese mainland and possibly parts of Russia as well, which then again would bring these two much more powerful nations into the war game. And that would not only mean that there's a possibility of a strike or two of North Korea towards the American mainland, but that after this scenario sets in would probably mean many more nuclear devices raining onto the United States. And the deep state, which is seated deeply and comfortably in the American mainland, would be destroyed as well. And since these people in power in the United States of America, as always, are the most cowardice humans on planet Earth, they will never risk such a scenario. And the bravery of the North Korean leadership is the only garant and the only security this planet has to show the world that when you are stern and hard and you're ready to fight back against America, the Americans will always step back and will not attack. This is the only way the world can eventually get rid of the deep state and of the global government plans of the silent shadow people in the back, by directly confronting them and saying, okay, you are going to kill us all, but we take some of you with us. Rudolf of Germany.